everyone, it's Justin again. Mia and I are watching our friends run in the Miaville Marathon. These runners are seriously impressive. The first runner just crossed the finish line with a time of 3 1/3 hours. Oh, yeah, you're right, Mia. Their time includes a fraction, but it also has a whole number, 3, with it. It's like a mix of fractions and whole numbers. By the end of today's lesson, you'll be able to tell the difference between improper fractions and mixed numbers. You'll be able to show mixed numbers with words, digits, and visual models, and you'll also be able to turn mixed numbers into improper fractions and vice versa. Have your guided notes ready, and let's go the extra mile with our math skills. We're already familiar with fractions like 1/3 or 4/3. A proper fraction, such as 1/3, has a value that is less than 1 whole, and improper fractions, like 4/3, represent more than 1 whole. But the runner's time of 3 1/3 hours isn't like either of those fractions. Let's draw a model to better understand what 3 1/3 means. Remember that the denominator of a fraction tells us how many pieces to split the wholes into. In this case, we'll split each whole into thirds. This bigger 3 next to the fraction means we have 3 wholes and then 1/3 of another whole. Hey, wait a sec. This looks a lot like the models for improper fractions that we worked on in our last lesson. If we count all the thirds in this model, how many do we have in total? There are 10 thirds altogether. So we can also write 3 1/3 as the improper fraction 10 thirds. So what's the difference between 3 1/3 and 10 thirds then? Pause the video here to record your thinking. You may have noticed that even though they represent the same value, the digits being used are different. 10 thirds tells us how many 1/3 size pieces there are in total. And in 3 1/3, the fraction has been renamed to tell us how many wholes there are and how many extra fractional pieces. Did you notice anything about the denominators being used? They're both 3. That's because the pieces in both 10 thirds and 3 1/3 are all 1/3 size pieces. When we have a whole number with a proper fraction, it's called a mixed number. Mixed numbers are a different way to represent a fraction greater than 1. And just like whole numbers and fractions, mixed numbers can be represented with digits, visual models, and words. To record a mixed number in words, the whole number comes first, followed by the word and then the hyphenated fraction, like 3 1/3, or 7 2/5. Now, let's check out the times of a few more runners who just finished the marathon. Their times are 3 5/8 hours, 22/5 hours, and 27/6 hours. Which of these is listed as a mixed number? 3 5/8, right. Mixed numbers show the whole parts next to the extra fractional pieces. But what about 22/5 and 27/6? How can we list them as mixed numbers? To represent 22/5 as a mixed number, we'll draw a model. We know this amount is greater than 1, and since our denominator is 5, we'll split each rectangle into 5 pieces. Each whole is 5/5, so we have 5/5, 10/5, 15/5, and 20/5. How many fifths are needed to get to 22/5 from here? We need 2 more. So there are 4 wholes and 2 extra fifths, which is the mixed number 4 2/5. Remember, mixed numbers focus on the whole parts and extra fractional pieces, while improper fractions focus on all the fractional pieces. 22/5 and 4 2/5 are the same amount, just shown in different ways. Another way we can convert or change an improper fraction into a mixed number is to use division. Converting just means changing the form of a number while keeping its value the same. So start by dividing the numerator by the denominator, 22 divided by 5. 22 isn't a multiple of 5, but 20 is. 20 divided by 5 equals 4. That matches the 4 wholes from our visual model. And 22 is 2 more than 20, which matches how many extra pieces we have. 4 whole pieces and 2 extra fifths, or 4 2/5. So we can divide using a nearby fact for the whole number, and the leftover amount is our fraction. The next runner had a time of 27/6 hours. What is their time as a mixed number? Pause the video here to record your thinking in your guided notes. We could always show 27/6 as a visual model to figure out how many wholes and extra fractional pieces there are. Or we can use division. 27 isn't a multiple of 6, but 24 is. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. Since 27 is 3 more than 24, that leaves 3 extra pieces, or 4 3/6. 27/6 and 4 3/6 represent the same value, but in different ways. We can use visual models or division to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers. Now, let's figure out how to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. Check out this time. 5 2/3 hours. Based on the denominator, each whole hour is split into 3 pieces. 5 whole groups of 3 equal 15 thirds. And adding the extra 2/3 makes 17 thirds. So 17 thirds and 5 2/3 represent the same value. So how can we convert a mixed number like 5 2/3 into an improper fraction without using a visual model? Think about what we just discovered. Each whole is split into 3 parts, and we have 5 whole groups. We can figure out the number of thirds in our whole number by multiplying 3 times 5, which equals 15 thirds. That's the same as multiplying the denominator by the number of whole groups. Then we add the extra 2/3, bringing the total to 17 thirds. The denominator stays the same because we're still working with thirds, which is why the improper fraction is 17 thirds. The final runner's time is 6 1/5 hours. What is that expressed as an improper fraction? Pause the video here to record your thinking. We could always show 6 1/5 as a visual model to count all the pieces. Or we can use multiplication and addition. Start by multiplying the denominator by the whole number. What's 5 times 6? That's 30. Next, we add the numerator. 30 plus 1 equals 31. The denominator stays the same, so the improper fraction is 31/5. 6 1/5 hours is the same as 31/5. Improper fractions and mixed numbers are just 2 different ways to represent the same value. Mixed numbers help us see the whole parts and the extra pieces, while improper fractions focus on the total number of fractional parts. Knowing how to change between improper fractions and mixed numbers helps us understand how numbers work, and it makes it easier to use them in different situations. So, what have we learned today, besides the fact that pacing ourselves helps us finish strong? Well, now you know that mixed numbers can be represented with digits, words, and visual models. You also know that improper fractions and mixed numbers represent the same value in different ways. Finally, you've learned how to use strategies to convert between improper fractions and mixed numbers. Be sure to complete the practice questions and extension activities that go with this lesson to practice working with mixed numbers and improper fractions. In our next lesson, we'll practice using all of our fraction skills. And remember, mathematicians, in math, as in life, every effort adds to your success. I'll see you next time.